I think we are live. Uh, let's wait for a few seconds to see if anybody joins. I doubt anybody will join, but I just wanted to do this stream so that I get on with my YouTube journey and I still don't have the barrier to record, edit, and then post a video because then I become lazy. So I'll just do a live stream for a couple of weeks or maybe a month and see if this works. Um, okay, I don't think anybody is joining. We are 30 seconds in. So the idea of this YouTube video is how I scope and build an MVP in 14 days. So I'll start with my introduction. I'm Dhruv. I run a solo MVP development studio, and I help founders go from an idea in their head to a working product in just 14 days. Sounds bold, right? 14 days, 2 weeks. Most people take months, some take years. And yet, I've built this process where we can move that fast. Um, so, today I'm just going to tell you what I do. I want to share how I think because when it comes to MVPs, the way you think is more important than the tools you use or the code you write. This isn't about secret developer hack. It's not about which framework is better. It's about clarity. It's about focus. It's about building less so you can launch faster and learn sooner. So I don't know, maybe 8, 10 minutes of video, get a coffee, get your Diet Coke or whatever. Just sit back and let me walk you through exactly how I scope and build an MVP in 14 days. And this is my way of thinking. And just maybe you will change your approach, how you approach your startup. When people hear 14 days, the first reaction is usually disbelief. That's impossible. No way I get a real product get built that fast. But here's what I've learned. Building fast is not about typing code faster. It's about thinking differently. The reason most founders take months isn't because building is hard. It's because their scope is scattered. They try to build for investors. They try to impress friends. They try to add every feature they've ever dreamed of. And in that process, they lose momentum. They get stuck in perfection. But when you force yourself into a 14-day box, you are forced into clarity. You are forced to ask, what is the single user journey that provides this idea that has value? It's uncomfortable at first, but that discomfort is a good thing. It shows you are cutting fluff and narrowing down to what actually matters, to what actually users really want. Think about it. If you can't shrink your idea into something testable in 2 weeks, do you really understand your idea? Or are you still hiding behind complexity? So let's talk about scoping. Here's my principle: subtraction beats addition. Most people ask me, what should we build? I ask them, what can you remove? Every feature you add is weight. Every feature is a distraction from the core promise. So I scope by subtraction. Here's how it works. Step one, there's no transitions here, but let's say step one. What's the real problem we are solving? Step two, what's the absolute minimum flow to prove it solves the problem? Step three, what can we throw out, even if it feels nice to have? Now, let me pause here and ask you a question. If you're watching this live or even later in the replay, I don't think anybody is watching live. Hopefully, some people would watch it in replay. What's the one feature in your idea that deep down you know that could cut? That hesitation, that uncomfortable feeling, that's exactly what makes or breaks your MVP. Scoping isn't about reducing ambition, it's about giving your ambition a starting point. And in my experience, the more brutal you are with scope, the faster you succeed. How I think about building: once the scope is simple, building gets easy. My mindset here is build for feedback, don't build for perfection. I don't care if the design isn't pixel perfect. I don't care if the backend is messy. I care if a user can go from problem to solution without any friction. That's it. That's the only bar. So in 14 days, I pick tools that are fast, not fancy. I reuse components. I don't rewrite components. I don't reinvent new components. I leave placeholders where polish can come later. Because remember, I'm not building the company, I'm building the test. And that's a mental shift a lot of founders need. Your MVP isn't your startup, it's your final product, it's an experiment. And when you treat it as an experiment, 2 weeks suddenly feels just possible. It feels natural. I talk to a lot of founders. I've built 50 plus MVPs in the last 1 year or 18 months. Here's what I think a lot of founders make mistakes. Let me zoom out and talk about common mistakes. Mistake number one, no transition. Mistake number one, building for investors instead of users. Oh, we have one person who's live. Okay, mistake number one is most founders build for investors instead of users. Founders try to impress VCs with shiny features instead of proving value to real people. Mistake number two that I see most founders make is building everything in version one. They have their payments, fancy dashboard, gamification, loyalty points, all in the first release. And guess what? By the time you release, the time has moved on, the world has moved on. Mistake number three, confusing a prototype with an MVP. A prototype is a demo, it's fake. An MVP is alive. Real people can actually use it. You will actually send it to your target audience members. You will get feedback from them. You'll iterate. You'll think, okay, this is what I want next. Not what I had thought, but what my users are telling me to what they want. So when I think about my 14-day approach, it's not just about for the sake of speed. It's perfection against these traps. It keeps founders from drowning in features, wasting money, and delaying validation. Think about this. What's more impressive to an investor? A polished deck with 20 fake features or a scrappy product that real users are already testing? I'll tell you, it's always the second. Speed versus quality. There's a big myth out there fast equals sloppy and slow equals quality. I don't buy it. In my world, fast means focused, slow usually means distracted. When you are forced to move fast, you prioritize, you cut noise, you say no to fluff. But when you go slow, you second guess, you overthink, you build features no one really asked for. So, speed isn't the enemy of quality. Speed is the strategy that leads to clarity. Because here's the truth, an MVP doesn't fail because it's ugly, it fails because nobody wants it. Better to find out in 14 days than 14 months. Let me share three hidden benefits of building in 14 days that people don't usually think about. First, momentum. Launching in 2 weeks keeps energy high. Founders feel progress. Teams feel motivated. That momentum can carry you forward. There's a reason why there are 14-day or 7-day sprints in any technologies product company. That keeps up the momentum, that forces you to have backlog features and not have everything in one single release, which will probably come in 6 months. Second, cost discipline. 2 weeks means a fixed spend. You are not bleeding money on never ending build. Imagine you had 10 features that you thought it takes 10 months to build. By the end of 10 months, you'll feel like I want these two features more. This is a never ending loop. You just scope tight, you fix in your budget, and then you build. Third is storytelling. Saying we are launching in 14 days. It's a powerful story. It shows discipline, it shows execution, and it sets you apart from 99% of the startups stuck in endless building mode. So, in a way, the 14-day mindset isn't just about the product, it's about shaping the founder's psychology, the team's momentum, and even the narrative you tell the world. Building public is probably getting bigger and bigger. If you build your product in public, or if you share your journey in public, you tell you built this in 14 days, or this is what your 14-day sprint will look like. That will gather user momentum, audience momentum. Everything is part of it. But if you keep building in silent for a year, 6 months, nobody gives any two shits what you are talking about, what you are building. There's nothing visually that they can see. You don't have a social validation, you don't have a product validation. All you are is just talking. Maybe some people founders are not even talking, they're just talking to themselves in their head. So, why this thinking matters? Here's the bigger picture. The way of thinking isn't just how I build, it's how need founders to think. Because if you can't think in terms of clarity, subtraction, and speed, you'll overbuild, you'll overspend, and you'll wait too long to learn if anyone even cares. But when you think in terms of subtraction, speed, and testing, you save money, you save time, you stay honest. You stay honest to your users, you stay honest to yourself. That's why people work with me, not just to get code, but to borrow my mindset, to have someone in the top in the room, someone who says, do we really need this or can we cut it? This mindset is what makes the 14-day process possible. And it's what keeps startups alive. So let me leave you with this: build less, launch faster, learn sooner. That's the entire philosophy of my 14-day MVP process. You are a founder, you want to get to an idea and build an MVP just in 14 days. That's exactly what I do every day in my studio. There's a link in my description to book a call with me. If you want to brainstorm your idea, narrow down your scope, or maybe get it even built, go to my website, book a call with me. It's free of cost, and maybe we can talk. We have one viewer today. Maybe I'll do this next week again. Maybe I'll break down a product of how I built an MVP for this product, or maybe something that's already big, what an MVP of it looked like, or what it should have been looked like. See you soon. Bye bye.